Mabuhay, Kamustika, welcome. How are you? This is Dr. Philippines from the studios of Love Beyond the Sea. I have another relationship question here, but before I do that, it'll be called Why Can't I Love a Person Who Loves Me? Before I get into that, just to let you know that I like to do videos about relationships. These don't take very long. We'll focus on one aspect of love, of some kind of a relationship angle. I figured that we all are in a relationship or we want to be in a relationship. And so I think it would be an interesting topic. So I try to come up with some short topics, and the questions seem kind of simple until you start to analyze it a little bit. Then it becomes a little more complicated. So I would ask you to subscribe to Love Beyond the Sea. And personally, I married a woman from the Philippines back in 2015. So I try to practice what I preach, and what I learn, I try to share here. So one reason, I can think of maybe five, why can't I love a person who loves me, would be a person has never been in a relationship. Relationships are getting harder, it seems, to get involved with today. A lot of people in their 20s and even 30s have not been in a serious relationship, and so it's possible when they do, and somebody has genuine love for them, that they're just unsure of how to respond, because they just aren't used to that give and take and the interaction of a relationship. So hopefully that's not the case with you, but I do know that a lot of people, especially if they're, like I said, younger, 20s or 30s, have never been in a relationship. And sometimes I wonder with online, all these apps, if it could make somebody maybe less aggressive to pursue a relationship in person, because there's so much reliance on these dating apps, and it's just a lot safer. It's a lot easier to I guess block somebody and get out of a dating relationship. And the old days, you just walked up to somebody and risked rejection and went from there. So I don't know, it's another topic, social media. But so my first point, maybe somebody's never been in a relationship, that makes it more difficult for them to love somebody that loves them. Another one, they may have grown up in a loveless home. Now, that's where the foundation is laid. And I think if you grow up in a home where there isn't love expressed, people aren't showing affection, they weren't told they were loved. Maybe they had to live up to some unreachable, unattainable standards, and so they leave home with a bad experience and never really been loved and confused how to love. So when they get into a relationship, I mean, they just may not be able to respond because they don't know any better. I mean, please leave comments here as we go along, because I would like to hear from you. A third reason, they may have been hurt by being mistreated in a past relationship, like a romantic relationship. They were let down, misled. Maybe there was physical or emotional abuse in that past relationship. I suppose they could be unlucky enough to have this happen more than once. And sometimes, I think people who have been hurt statistically tend to look for another abuser for whatever reason in the next relationship. But being mistreated can certainly make it impossible, difficult to love somebody that really does love us in a relationship. A fourth reason, there could be guilt from mistreating somebody in the past, and that's why theoretically the person might not be able to love someone that loves them. They hurt somebody in the past, maybe multiple relationships, and so they feel like, well, I'm beyond hope. I don't deserve somebody else, when they need to heal from that. They need to have pointed out what they did wrong. They have to accept that and not make those mistakes the next time in mistreating someone else. But just trying to think of reasons why, if somebody loves us, we would have difficulty loving back. Thinking about real life, and I think this can happen. A fifth reason I thought of was that a person might not know how to love, or even what that is. I mean, if they think it's something mysterious and mystical, it's not. It's just hardcore being good to somebody, I think, and putting that other person above yourself. Nothing wrong with that, because when you're good to somebody else, they tend to respond to that in a positive way and be good to you back. I can verify this, and in my almost 5 years of being married to a woman, I got married to in less than 8 weeks. So we pretty much started from the ground up, from scratch. She was 9,800 flight miles away, and I met her in the Philippines to meet her for the very first time and to get married while we were there. And if you take a look at my many videos, you can get a sense of how our relationship has been going. But love is about being forgiving, not being selfish. Those are two of the probably the biggest things you need to know about love. But it's how you treat somebody, and it's not a 50-50 deal. It's something you just have to go out and do because you want to be good to that other person. Now, where I come from, so to speak, looking for a relationship overseas, a lot of people have gotten scammed. And if a person has been scammed before, I mean, they might come across someone that really would make them a good spouse. They might even love them or have the potential to do that, but because they've been hurt before in a scam, they might just say all women are like that, all Filipinas are like that, and all these women are looking for is to take advantage of me, and they may miss out on someone because of a lack of trust. I read about that a lot. Fortunately, I was able to avoid that, thank God. And I was looking for a woman with character who wanted to have a biblical marriage, and that's what I got, and I'm very happy. I had personally been alone a very long time. You can see how long in some of my other videos. Did that make me unable to love someone because I had been uninvolved for so long? It actually didn't, because I knew that, if you look up 1 Corinthians 13:4-8, that's the definition of love. That tells you what it is, and that's the kind of love I wanted to give to somebody else. I wanted to make their life better. I knew what I needed, and I obviously expressed that, but I've been focusing on what I can do for her, and I was able to jump into that right away. I really wasn't hurt in any past relationships. I owned up to my responsibility, where I did something wrong, and I just focused on finding somebody, wanting to be good for them. So I was able to do that, and as soon as I hit the ground running and married this remarkable woman from the Philippines. So life is short. If there's someone who loves you, it's imperative that you be able to learn from past hurts caused by others or the ones that you are responsible for. So look forward to more videos about relationships from Dr. Philippines for you right here on Love Beyond the Sea.